across the states, 4 p.m. And our major news at 6 p.m. Citizen FM 93.7. Always precise in news broadcast.
This is 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on Citizen FM News at 6. I am Didi Eno. First, the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari seeks approval for $800 million World Bank loan from Senate. More stranded Nigerians from Sudan and Niger return home. President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a letter to the Senate seeking approval to take a loan to the tune of $800 million from the World Bank to cushion the effects of subsidy removal. This follows the federal government's April announcement of an $800 million World Bank grant targeting 50 million vulnerable Nigerians or 10 million households as part of its subsidy palliatives measures. According to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, the disbursement of the grant is in light of the planned subsidy removal in June 2023. Ahmed underscored that engagements are ongoing with the newly established Presidential Transition Council and the incoming administration to drive the palliative program, which includes the need for buses, among various considerations. Another batch of Nigerians stranded in war-torn Sudan have arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The evacuees, who are 136 in number, arrived in a Turco Aviation aircraft via Port Sudan at 9:30. While noting that this is the 11th aircraft that has evacuated Nigerians from Sudan, the National Emergency Management Agency says a total of 2,002 Nigerians, comprising men, women, and children, and in fact pregnant women, have so far been evacuated since the war broke out in the North African country. This is coming a few hours after 126 nationals that departed Port Sudan International Airport landed at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on Tuesday night via Taco Air. And the National Emergency Management Agency on Wednesday disclosed that it received another batch of 148 stranded Nigerians from Niamey, Niger Republic. NEMA Coordinator, Kano Territorial Office, Nuruddin Abdullahi, confirmed their arrival while receiving the returnees at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport. According to Abdullahi, the returnees arrived aboard Sky Mali Airlines, operated by Ethiopian Airlines. He explained that the International Organization for Migration facilitated their return from Niamey in Niger via a voluntary repatriation program. The program, according to him, is meant for the distressed who left the country in search of greener pastures in different European countries but could not afford to offset the cost of their return. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has said that it will provide necessary support to ensure that Nigerian students evacuated from war-torn Sudan are integrated into the nation's universities. The registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, made this known when the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, led a delegation to the examination body in Abuja to discuss modalities for integrating the affected students into tertiary institutions in the country. And he also assured that the registrar will do all in his power to ensure that all be well integrated. The registrar emphasized that the students and commended NIDCOM or empathized with the students and commended NIDCOM for the effective handling of the evacuation, assuring that JAMB would ensure the desired support.
We must thank the Commission, Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, for making efforts to see that the students are absorbed into the Nigerian university system. And we have given the Commission the process and procedure that the individual universities be approached, and there are procedure, the transcripts, and the rules, the regulations, and that nobody should be under any illusion that a Nigerian university will award a certificate with less than 2-year stay and residency in the university system. And the procedure how to make sure that this is done legitimately and properly with the cooperation of the National Universities Commission and the individual institutions. The guidelines from JAM has already been handed over to the chairperson of the commission.
And in her remarks, the NIDCOM chairman, Abike Dabiri Erewa, who revealed that about 1,730 Nigerians have been evacuated from Sudan, added that majority of them are students eager to continue their education in Nigeria while waiting for the war to be over. Abike Dabiri, who assured that the necessary procedures will be followed to integrate the affected students into Nigerian schools, emphasized that the Commission has realized that the laydown processes to integrate them by JAMB are not difficult.
But the key thing is that there are processes to follow, but they are not difficult processes. And that's what we've learned from JAMB. For instance, if an institution, if you apply to institutions already say that they want to give support, they want to admit them, but the key thing is follow the processes as stipulated by JAMB. All the information is on our website, processes to follow, and it shouldn't be too difficult to handle. But the key thing is that JAMB has assured that they will provide the enabling environment and the infrastructure. If, for instance, a university admits you, after you've been admitted, you need to get that letter that says, from JAMB, that says you've been admitted, no matter what year 3, year 2, year 4. So I think those are the most important things. But all the information will be out there so that we do not make mistakes in the process of trying to get these things right. And it shouldn't be too much difficult. And I will also appeal to the students there's a crisis. It has affected them one way or the other. How do we limit the impact, the effect on them? So whichever way, let's follow the processes. And most of them are hoping that the war will be over and they'll go back. But what if it's not? What's the stopgap? And that is why we're doing this with JAMB.
The Niger Delta Development Commission has said it will partner with the United Nations Satellite Center to find lasting solutions to the challenges of flooding in the Niger Delta region. The NDDC Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Ogboku, stated this during a virtual presentation on ways of combating flood challenges in the Niger Delta region by a technical team of the United Nations Institute for Training and Research at the Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt. Ogboku charged the center to profile long-term solutions to environmental challenges such as flooding that is facing the Niger Delta region, saying temporary solutions were not sustainable and had become a drain pipe on the resources of the federal government and its agencies. The Nigerian Bar Association has said it is working out a petition to take disciplinary action against the embattled resident of the electoral commissioner of Adamawa State, Hudu Yunusa Ari, who is also a lawyer. The REC, who evaded arrest until May 2, is under investigation for his role in the controversial declaration of Aishatu Dahiru of the All Progressives Congress as the winner of the April 15 supplementary governorship elections. The chairman, Section of Public Interest and Development of NBA, Monday Ubani, said the NBA is planning to take a petition against him as a member of the bar. President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday afternoon left Nigeria for Europe on a working visit. He will use the opportunity of the trip to fine-tune the transition plans and programs and his policy options with some of his key aides without unnecessary pressures and distractions. During the visit, the president-elect will engage with investors and other key allies with the goal of marketing investment opportunities in the country and his administration's readiness to enable a business-friendly climate through policies and regulations. Already, meetings with multi-sectoral actors in Europe's business community, including manufacturing, agriculture, tech, and energy, have been lined up. An Abuja Federal High Court has barred the National Broadcasting Commission from imposing fines on Nigerian broadcast stations. Presiding Judge James Omotosho, in a Wednesday ruling, said the NBC lacked the judicial powers to impose penalties. Omotosho gave an order of perpetual injunction restraining the NBC from imposing fines henceforth on broadcast stations in the country. He also set aside the 500,000 naira fines imposed on March 1, 2019 on each of the 45 broadcast stations. Justice Omotosho held that the NBC, not being a court of law, had no power to impose sanctions as punishment on broadcast stations. The Presidential Election Petition Court has adjourned till next Wednesday, May 17, the petition against the President-elect Bola Tinubu by the Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi. The court took the decision on the request for adjournment by parties to the petition. The Nigerian Senate has mandated its Committee on Interior to investigate the circumstances causing the delay in the issuance and renewal of passports by the Nigerian Immigration Service. The Senate issued these directives to its Committee on Interior at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday following a motion by Senator Uche Ekwunife, who said Nigerians are facing hardship and stress in getting their passports. She explained that despite the 6 weeks timeline given by the NIS, Nigerians now spend between 3 to 6 months to get them. And according to her, this was below par for a country like Nigeria.
The Senate notes that the delay in issuance and renewal of the Nigerian international passport by the Nigerian Immigration Service nationwide has caused untold hardships for the Nigerians who need to travel out of the country or return to the country. The Senate further notes that the Nigerian passport is an official identity document that affirms the bearer's citizenship and is issued to Nigerians primarily for the purpose of traveling out of Nigeria and returning to the country in exercise of their rights to personal liberty and freedom of movement. Mr. President, the Senate observes that getting an appointment for biometrics capturing at the passport offices now takes between 5 to 8 weeks. After biometrics, many applicants still spend more than 4 months waiting for their passports to be ready for collection.
The passport is the right of every Nigerian. And the situation we're in today, we were in about 15, 20 years ago. How did we get back here is what all of us are worried about. And it is important that we resolve this as soon as possible, because there was a time when you could get your passport within 2-3 days. We must return to that time. And this motion is very timely because it is embarrassing to Nigerians to know that we will need 6 to 8 months to take our passports. Mr. President.
The Senate has also asked its Committee on Interior to probe the contract for the printing of passports by the NIS, that is the Immigration Service. President Muhammadu Buhari says young people worldwide have proven that they can drive the change process, contributing positively to the socio-economic development of their communities. Buhari, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, stated this while opening the Commonwealth Youth and Students Summit in Abuja. Buhari claimed his regime has heavily invested in youth development, creating formidable platforms for youths to hone their leadership skills.
Among others, today's issues are in some way different by moving around cross-cutting themes that transcend national boundaries and geographic locations. Some of these matters include climate change, violence and extremism, impact of science and technology, the opportunities and the perils of globalization. Our presence here today is evidence of the intent to continue ensuring that our youth build bridges and share experiences and knowledge. I want to therefore use this opportunity to reiterate that Nigeria, as a proud member of the Commonwealth, will continuously create an enabling environment for young people to blossom and to reach their potential.
And on his part, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, urged governments at all levels to collaborate with the youths. Dare noted that Nigerian youths have all that they needed to develop and to also build the economy.
But our youth possess the ideas that can see us through. Our youth understandably feel these gaps and feel disadvantaged from these gaps in our development. They often also feel they are excluded from the table and are therefore unable to contribute towards policy formulation and execution. However, the very future that the youth deserve can only be built on collaboration, communication, compromise, and wisdom of those who have earned the experience over time. Confrontation and conflict are unlikely to unleash the full potentials of our youth, but investment and inclusivity will help to gain their full potentials. And actualizing these full potentials means solutions for all of us, young and old, youth and adults, because many of the challenges that we face are not uncommon across the African continent.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has signed the 2023 Hajj airlift agreements with the 4 Nigerian airlines approved to airlift Nigerian pilgrims to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the Hajj exercise. In a statement signed by NACON Deputy Director, Information and Publication, Musa Ubandawaki, the event, which took place at the Commission headquarters in Abuja and attended by the Chief Executive of the 4 organizations, finally led to truce between them. NACON Chairman and CEO Alhaji Zikrullah Kunle Hassan praised the patriotic zeal of the airlines for their sacrifices in the face of the challenges posed by the closure of Sudan airspace due to the current crisis to Hajj operation. The Commission, however, appealed to the conscience and sense of patriotism of the airline operators not to further burden the pilgrims with additional costs or charges.
We're here also because we, even at the Hajj Commission, accept the reality that the Sudan conflict necessarily put pressure on the airline, particularly in terms of cost. And I am very sure our airlines are up to the task. And when we sign the agreement today, it will be a real indication that our airlines are patriotic, and that comes first before their business concern. We made strenuous effort to ensure that no pilgrims pay 1 naira out of 3 million. It took us a while, but it was a challenge we gave to ourselves that no pilgrims will pay beyond 3 million.
And still on the local scene, no fewer than 7 people have been reported dead, while several others hospitalized after drinking tea suspected to have been prepared with a local leaf popularly known as zakami at a wedding ceremony in Kano. The leaves contain a psychoactive substance, and the incident happened in Sheka area of Kumbutso local government area of Kano State. One of the witnesses, Sanusi Yahaya, who is also an elder brother to the bride, said the tea was suspected to be made with different types of drugs apart from the local leaf. You are listening to Citizen FM News at 6. And now to stories on the foreign scene. Unprecedented fighting between paramilitary fighters and the military is taking place in the northern suburbs of Sudan's capital, according to residents. The battle in Bari echoes, and those that took place in central Khartoum in the last days in the conflict, which erupted more than 3 weeks ago. The paramilitary Rapid Support Force group said in a video that it shot down a military fighter jet in Bari. This is yet to be confirmed independently. Since the start of the conflict, RSF fighters have been in control of much of Khartoum, with the army attacking them from the air. A Kenyan magistrate has ordered that Paul Ndenge Mackenzie, the leader of the Doomsday Cult, remains in custody for a further 30 days. This is to allow the police to continue their investigations into the deaths of more than 100 of his followers. The founder of Good News International Church is alleged to have encouraged them to starve themselves to death. State prosecutors in Mombasa had wanted permission to hold Pastor Mackenzie, who was arrested in April, for another 3 months. And now to news on sports scene. AC Milan striker Oliver Giroud says he is more motivated than ever at the age of 36 as he attempts to win a second Champions League title. Giroud, who was an unused substitute in Chelsea's 1-0 over Manchester United in the 2021 final, left the Blues that summer to join Milan, who face City rivals Inter in the semi-final first leg. Captain Sergio Busquets has confirmed he will leave Barcelona at the end of the season after 18 years at the club. The former Spain midfielder, who is 34, has played 718 matches for Barcelona, the third most in the club's history. His list of honors won the club includes 8 La Liga titles, 7 Copa del Rey's, 7 Spanish Super Cups, and 3 Champions Leagues. And that's about the size of the news tonight. But before we go, a recap of the highlights. President Muhammadu Buhari has sought approval for $800 million World Bank loan from Senate. More stranded Nigerians from Sudan and Niger have returned home. And that is on the news. Citizen FM News at 6, as edited by Lawrence Omoete. To listen to us online, please visit citizenfm.ng. I am Didieno. To stay with us, Super Citizen at Sunset continues in a bit.
Looking for the best in news update? Yeah, man. Listen to Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Now listen. News on the hour, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. News at noon, 12 noon. News from across the states, 4 p.m.